The afternoon sun filtered softly through my bedroom window, casting a warm glow on the cluttered desk where textbooks, notebooks, and a half-drained cup of coffee lay. My name is Alex, a college student balancing life between lectures, part-time work, and a secret I rarely share. Most people think of me as quiet, reserved, maybe a little awkward, but I had this side of myself that no one knew about. A fascination with transformation, with becoming someone entirely different for a while. It wasn't just curiosity. Dressing up, experimenting with makeup, feeling the thrill of slipping into someone else's shoes. It gave me a sense of freedom I couldn't find in my everyday life. I dabbled quietly for months, sneaking moments when I knew no one would see. But until today, my experiments had been private, confined to my bedroom and late-night mirrors. My sister, Lily, was a whirlwind of energy and confidence. She had a close-knit group of friends who were always stylish, always daring. And today, she had invited one of them over. Emma, the friend I'd only met once before at a family dinner. Emma was stunning, with effortless charm, perfectly styled hair, and a confidence that made my heart race. I'd always admired her from a distance, never imagining I'd be in the same room with her, let alone the situation that was about to unfold. Lily had asked me to help clean up the living room for their little gathering. I shuffled awkwardly around the furniture, trying not to draw attention to myself. But Emma's eyes found me as soon as she walked in. She smiled warmly, and my stomach twisted with nerves. She didn't know my secret, of course, my hidden hobby, my fascination with cross-dressing and makeup, but something about her presence made me ache to show it. It started as playful teasing. Emma noticed my fidgeting with my hands, my nervous energy, and laughed softly. "You seem tense, Alex. Ever tried relaxing with a little glam?" I froze. My mind raced. Glam? Makeup? Did she know something? My face heated, and I stammered out a joke about being hopeless with brushes and colors. But Emma's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You have no idea," she said, picking up a small makeup kit from the counter. "I could show you a few tricks. It's fun. I promise it's harmless." I hesitated. This was dangerous. What if Lily saw? What if I lost control of my secret? But at the same time, the idea was intoxicating. I felt a thrill in my chest, a blend of fear and excitement. I nodded, unable to resist the pull. Emma guided me to my bedroom, turning it into a makeshift studio. The kits she brought were professional, unlike anything I'd ever used. Lipsticks, eyeshadows, foundation, brushes. It was overwhelming. But Emma's hands were patient, her voice soothing as she explained each step. "Just relax, Alex," she said with a teasing smile. "Let's see the real you, hidden behind all that nervous energy." As the brush stroked across my cheeks, I felt a transformation. Not just in my appearance, but inside. The mirror reflected a version of me I rarely let anyone see. Polished, confident, attractive. Emma's touch was gentle, but there was a sense of control in the way she applied the makeup, a playful dominance that sent shivers down my spine. By the time she was done, I hardly recognized myself. My face was softer, my features highlighted in ways I hadn't imagined. The colors complemented my skin perfectly. The reflection in the mirror made me catch my breath. I had crossed a line I hadn't intended, becoming someone more than just Alex, someone I wanted to be when no one was watching. Emma leaned back and examined her work. "Wow, you look incredible," she whispered, a blush creeping up her cheeks. "I didn't know you had it in you." I laughed nervously, the sound high and unsteady. My pulse raced. The compliments had never felt this intense, this electric. There was a moment of silence as our eyes met. A strange, new tension hung in the room, something that neither of us had anticipated. "You know," Emma said softly, "you could be more than just Alex. You could be my pretty crush." I choked on the words, heart hammering. My secret hobby, my hidden desires, were now in plain sight. And Emma, someone I admired, someone I barely knew, had turned the tables. She made me feel seen, desired, and vulnerable all at once. The room felt warmer. Every brushstroke, every whispered compliment, Every glance was building a tension I hadn't expected. I realized that my secret wasn't just about makeup or clothing. It was about being acknowledged, being appreciated, being someone else for a moment. And with Emma, that moment was electrifying, intoxicating, terrifying. Outside, Lily's laughter echoed from the living room, completely unaware of what was unfolding in my bedroom. I knew this was just the beginning. Something had shifted. A game had started, a suspenseful, emotional journey that I wasn't sure I could control. And as Emma smiled at me, brushing a stray strand of hair from my face, I understood. Nothing would ever be the same again. The room felt different now, warmer, charged with a strange energy that made my pulse race. Emma had just finished applying the final touches on my makeup, and I was still staring at my reflection, unable to recognize myself. The Alex in the mirror was softer, more vibrant, undeniably beautiful. Every brushstroke, every line of lipstick, every highlight made me feel alive in a way I hadn't anticipated. "Okay, now for the fun part," Emma said, picking up a pair of delicate heels from her bag. My eyes widened. Heels? I hadn't even considered shoes. But before I could protest, she gently guided my feet into them. They were just the right size, almost snug but not painfully tight. The first few steps felt unsteady, but soon I realized something incredible. I was walking taller, moving differently, almost graceful. The thrill of transformation was intoxicating. My mind raced as I took tentative steps around the room, feeling the shift in my posture, my confidence, my energy. Each click of the heels against the hardwood floor made me more aware of how exposed I was, but also how empowered. I felt like someone entirely new, someone daring, someone that I had always wanted to explore but never had the courage to become. Emma watched, her expression a mixture of pride and amusement. "You're doing amazing," she said softly, her eyes lingering on mine. "It suits you more than I expected." Her words, soft and genuine, sent shivers down my spine. I could feel my cheeks flush under layers of blush, but it didn't feel embarrassing, it felt alive. Every part of me, my fears and my hidden desires, was vibrating with a mix of excitement and vulnerability. I was alone in my room with her, yet it felt like the whole world had narrowed down to this moment. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted my hair, and Emma stepped closer, offering to help. Her fingers brushed mine accidentally, or maybe intentionally, as she smoothed out a stray strand of hair. The contact sent a jolt of electricity through me, and I realized that this was more than just makeup. This was intimacy, trust, and a kind of thrill I hadn't expected. As Emma continued to guide me through the process, I began to experiment more boldly. A swipe of eyeshadow, a dab of lipstick, a tiny touch of eyeliner. I was learning not just how to transform, but how to become someone else entirely. The sensation was liberating and terrifying at the same time. I felt the thrill of danger, knowing that Lily could come into my room at any moment, discovering everything. Yet that very risk made my excitement spike even higher. "You're stunning," Emma whispered, stepping back to admire her work. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror again and felt my heart skip a beat. The person staring back was undeniably attractive. I almost didn't recognize the confidence in my posture, the spark in my eyes, the playful tilt of my smile. It was intoxicating. I couldn't help but laugh nervously, my voice slightly higher than normal. I can't believe this is me," I murmured, touching my face, my lips, my cheeks. Every inch of me was transformed, and yet I felt vulnerable, as if anyone could see right through me. Emma tilted her head, a teasing smile dancing on her lips. "That's the point," she said softly. "This is you, just a version of you that you've been hiding. And honestly, I kind of love it." My stomach twisted. Her words weren't just playful. They were sincere, tinged with a fascination I couldn't ignore. I wanted to hide, to retreat, yet at the same time, I wanted to revel in the attention, the approval, the connection. For the next hour, we explored the transformation further. Emma helped me try on different outfits, each one carefully chosen to accentuate my new appearance. Soft fabrics, flowing skirts, delicate tops, They felt foreign at first, but gradually, I started to feel a deep, undeniable thrill. Every time I glanced in the mirror, I caught glimpses of a person I had never allowed myself to fully see. And Emma, her eyes wide with delight, encouraged every choice. "You look amazing in that one," she said, pointing at a pastel dress. I twirled awkwardly, feeling the hem of the skirt brush against my knees. The mirror reflected a version of me that was playful, confident, almost daring. I could feel the flutter in my chest, the mix of excitement and fear, desire and vulnerability. Then came the moment I hadn't anticipated. Selfies. Emma pulled out her phone, suggesting we document the transformation. "You have to see yourself from another angle," she said, positioning the camera. I hesitated. Images of myself fully dressed and made up felt unreal, almost like someone else's reflection. Yet when I saw the first shot, I gasped. I was beautiful. Not just in a superficial sense, but in a way that resonated deeply, emotionally. My hidden side, the part of me I had always suppressed, was finally alive, tangible, undeniable. The thrill was almost overwhelming. Emma leaned closer, her voice teasing but soft. "You know, Alex, you could seriously be someone's crush. Maybe even mine." My heart skipped. That word, crush, hung in the air, potent and electrifying. I felt exposed, yet exhilarated. Every nerve in my body was alive with anticipation and fear. But as the afternoon wore on, the suspense grew. I kept glancing at the door, imagining Lily walking in, seeing me like this and laughing, or worse, judging. The thrill of secrecy, the fear of discovery, heightened everything. Each moment in the heels, each glance at the mirror, each smile exchanged with Emma was charged with tension. By the time the sun dipped lower in the sky, I had completely embraced my transformed self. Every inch of me, clothes, makeup, posture, had shifted. Yet beneath the exhilaration lurked anxiety. What would happen if Emma's interest went beyond playful teasing? What if Lily discovered our little experiment? The uncertainty gnawed at me, blending with a thrill, creating a dizzying cocktail of emotion. And just as I began to relax, thinking the moment might end peacefully, the sound of a car door outside made both of us freeze. Lily was coming back early. My heart raced, panic flooding through me. I was still in full makeup, in heels, in a dress that screamed visibility. Emma and I exchanged a look, half amusement, half terror. "Quick," she whispered, grabbing my hand. "We need to hide this, fast." The suspense hit full throttle. Every step, every movement, every heartbeat was heightened. Would we make it? Would Lily discover me like this? The thrill, the danger, the excitement. It all collided in a moment of pure tension, leaving me both exhilarated and terrified. The sound of the front door opening sent a jolt through me. My heart raced, pounding in my ears as if trying to escape. Emma and I froze, eyes wide, breaths held. Lily's voice echoed faintly from the hallway. "Alex? Emma? Are you in here?" Panic surged through me. I was still in full makeup, in heels, and wearing the delicate dress Emma had helped me into. My fingers trembled as I clutched the hem, trying to appear casual, yet I felt every inch of me exposed, vulnerable and thrillingly alive. Emma's grip on my hand was firm, grounding me. "Stay calm," she whispered. "We can handle this." I nodded, though my stomach churned with fear. My mind raced through every possible scenario. Should I hide in the closet? Should I pretend I was just trying on her clothes for fun? My pulse spiked with the possibility of being caught, but deep down, a small part of me wanted to be discovered, to have someone truly see this side of me. Lily appeared in the doorway, her eyes scanning the room. "Why do you both look different?" she asked, her voice light but tinged with curiosity. I swallowed hard, trying to steady my voice. Just experimenting," I stammered, glancing at Emma for help. Emma stepped forward, her confidence radiating. "Alex wanted to try a new look. I just helped with the makeup," she said smoothly, her eyes twinkling mischievously. Lily's gaze shifted between us, suspicious yet intrigued. Well, you both look amazing, she said finally, a teasing smile spreading across her face. My relief was immediate, but it was short-lived. A small creak from the floorboards near the closet caught our attention. I froze. Something or someone was moving closer. The sound was faint but unmistakable. My heart leapt into my throat as I realized that our secret, our little world of thrill and transformation, was teetering on the edge of exposure. Emma's eyes met mine. "We need a plan," she whispered urgently.
Now.
I nodded, panic and excitement intertwining. Together, we ducked behind the large armchair near the window. The heels clicked softly against the floor as I moved, each step sending shivers of vulnerability through me. I could hear Lily's footsteps getting closer, her curiosity pulling her into the room, unaware of our hiding spot. "Alex? Where did you go?" Lily's voice was playful, but it carried an edge that made my stomach twist. I held my breath, pressing myself against the armchair, the fabric brushing against my dress. The thrill of being so close to discovery made my pulse spike. Emma's presence beside me was grounding, yet electrifying. Her fingers brushed mine in a reassuring gesture, sending a jolt through my body. Suddenly, Lily's hand reached toward the closet door. "I know you're hiding something in there," she said, her tone teasing but suspicious. My heart froze. We weren't in the closet, but the tension was unbearable. I glanced at Emma, panic written across my face. She took a deep breath, her mind racing. "Maybe it's better if we just show her," she whispered, her eyes glinting with mischief. I shook my head, fear and excitement warring within me. "Are you crazy? She'll laugh at me or worse." Emma smiled, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "Or she'll be impressed. Come on, Alex. You've embraced this side of yourself. Show her." The words ignited a fire in me. My hands trembled, but I felt a surge of courage. Slowly, I stepped from behind the chair, my heels clicking confidently against the floor. Lily turned, startled, her eyes widening as she took in my full transformation. Her mouth opened slightly, then she let out a small gasp. "Alex, wow." The sound of her voice, combined with the sight of myself in the mirror, sent my emotions into overdrive. I was terrified, yes, but also exhilarated. The risk, the exposure, the thrill of being seen, it all collided into a dizzying high. Emma stepped closer, her hand on my shoulder.
"See?
"You're amazing," she said softly. Lily took a cautious step forward, studying me with a mix of curiosity and admiration. I didn't expect this," she admitted. You look incredible." Relief washed over me, mingling with a strange, intoxicating rush of pride. My secret wasn't being ridiculed, it was being acknowledged, even celebrated. The sensation was overwhelming. But the suspense wasn't over. Just as I began to relax, the sound of another knock echoed from the front door. Emma and I exchanged a glance. Someone else was arriving. The tension spiked again, threatening to shatter the fragile bubble of exhilaration we'd built. "Who could that be?" Lily asked, a note of worry creeping into her voice. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly. "No idea, but we have to be ready for anything." I felt my stomach twist with dread and excitement. The thrill of the unknown, the risk of exposure, and the intensity of the moment made my heart race like never before. I was caught between fear and exhilaration, vulnerability and empowerment, uncertainty and desire. As the knocking grew louder, I realized that this was the ultimate test. My secret, my transformation, my newfound confidence, all hanging by a thread. One wrong move, one slip of the dress, one falter in the heels, and everything could unravel. Emma's hand tightened around mine. "Ready?" she whispered. I nodded, feeling the adrenaline surge. "Ready." And then, the door swung open. And a tall, unfamiliar figure stepped inside. My heart skipped a beat, and my heels clicked sharply against the hardwood floor as I instinctively stepped back, brushing against the hem of my dress. Emma's hand remained firmly on my shoulder, grounding me, but the tension in the room was palpable. "Hi. The stranger's voice faltered as their eyes scanned the room. Their gaze fell on me, lingering a little too long. The adrenaline in my veins made my skin tingle. I felt exposed, every nerve ending alive, yet a small thrill coursed through me. Emma quickly stepped in. "Alex wanted to try something new," she said smoothly, her tone calm yet commanding. "It's just a bit of fun." The stranger blinked, then tilted their head. "Fun, huh?" Their eyes narrowed slightly, studying me with curiosity. "You look different." "Interesting." My stomach twisted. I could feel the heat rising to my cheeks beneath the makeup. Was it admiration? Confusion? Something else? I couldn't tell, but I knew I had to stay composed. Lily, standing to my side, grinned nervously. "Yeah, Alex is pretty amazing, right?" The stranger's gaze shifted to Lily, then back to me. "You two are close?" There was a hint of suspicion in their voice, and my heart thumped harder. Emma's lips curved into a reassuring smile, but I could see the tension in her eyes. "We're friends. Just hanging out." Her hand squeezed mine lightly, a silent signal to stay calm. I nodded, trying to steady my breathing. Every movement felt amplified, every sound sharper. The thrill of being seen, fully exposed in heels and dress and makeup, made my heart race in ways I hadn't anticipated. Suddenly, the stranger took a step closer. "Can I see more?" Their tone was casual, but their gaze was intense, focused entirely on me. Panic flared, but so did a strange exhilaration. This was a test, my secret, my transformation, hanging by a thread. I glanced at Emma, who gave a subtle nod, silently telling me I had control. As I stepped forward, heels clicking, the dress swaying with each movement, the stranger's eyes widened slightly. The thrill of the risk, of exposure, of being judged, of being admired, made my pulse thunder in my ears. I was walking a tightrope between vulnerability and empowerment, and every second counted. Then, from the corner of the room, I caught a small glint, a camera, partially hidden behind the sofa. Someone had been filming. My heart stopped. Who was recording? Lily? The stranger? Emma? "Wait, what's that?" I stammered, pointing toward the glint. Emma's eyes flicked toward it, her calm facade cracking ever so slightly. I don't know," she said, her voice low. The stranger's head tilted, a smirk forming. "Looks like someone's more than just playing dress-up." My mind raced. Every scenario I had imagined as a private thrill suddenly exploded into possibility. Exposure, ridicule, attention, even virality. My secret life, the side of me that thrived in transformation, in heels, in makeup, was teetering on the edge of being discovered. Lily stepped closer to me, her hand brushing mine. "Alex, are you okay?" she asked, her voice a mix of concern and fascination. I swallowed hard, my lips trembling. I don't know," I admitted, feeling the vulnerability wash over me. Yet beneath the fear, a spark of exhilaration burned. The thrill of the moment, of being truly seen, was intoxicating. The stranger moved again, and I could feel their gaze burning into me. "You're something else," they murmured. A sudden knock at the front door made everyone freeze. The sound echoed sharply in the room, magnifying the tension. Another unexpected visitor? A neighbor? Someone who might unravel everything? Emma's eyes met mine, a flash of worry crossing her face. This might get complicated," she whispered. I felt my heels shift slightly on the floor, my balance teetering, my pulse racing. The combination of fear, exposure, and secret thrill made my head spin. I was caught between wanting to flee and wanting to embrace the attention, to own this moment fully. The knocking grew louder, insistent, echoing in the room. The stranger smirked, as if enjoying the chaos, while Lily stepped back cautiously. My hands trembled, the dress swaying, the makeup warm on my flushed skin. And then, just as I took a cautious step toward the door, the scene froze in a heartbeat of suspense. The unknown visitor was about to enter, and my secret, my double life, my transformation, my identity, hung precariously in the balance. Would they discover me? Would Emma protect me? Or would the stranger expose everything? My heart raced, the heels digging into the floor, my breath shallow. Every eye was on me. Every second felt eternal. And in that frozen moment, I realized my life had changed forever. The thrill, the fear, the exhilaration, all intertwined. I was no longer just Alex. I was the girl in the dress, the one everyone now saw, the secret I had nurtured and feared, all teetering on the edge of exposure. The knocking continued, louder, more insistent. And then,